Hello there, welcome to my YouTube channel. Of course, remember to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done it yet. And today I've prepared a very practical, as usual, very useful structure for you, which you can basically use in every situation, be it some casual situation or a business situation. So you can literally use it in all sorts of situations. However, this structure might be a bit tricky, so I do hope that after this class you will know how to create similar sentences with this structure, which is like im, tym, im jesteś starszy, tym szybciej się męczysz, and so on and so on. So without further ado, let's not waste your precious time. Let's kick off, shall we? So firstly, I would like you to think how you would normally translate the following sentence. Im starszy się stajesz, tym bardziej jesteś zmęczony. So I will give you a few seconds to translate it the way you want, the way you can, basically. Even if you don't know how to, then we will sort it out in a minute. But firstly, think, how would you translate it? Of course, you can stop the video, but now I'm going to explain it to you what kind of structure we can use here. So pay attention. The older you get or become, the more tired you are. And what do we basically do here is that we use this the plus the. So this im, tym structure in the Polish language is basically translated by means of the. Pay attention. Im is translated as the, and tym is also translated as the. Why? Because we basically need to use these superlative forms of adjectives. Stopień wyższy przymiotników. So have a look. The older you get, im starszy się stajesz, the more tired you are. Of course, the adjective tired cannot, well, have some endings like er, like the older, so we need to add more. The older you get, the more tired you are. And pay attention, firstly you have the adjective, the more tired, and then the verb, you are. Let's have a look at more examples because it always helps. Have a look. So the rule, once again, let's refresh it, the plus superlative form of an adjective. Stopień wyższy. And now, example number 2. The more often you learn, the better your English is. Im częściej się uczysz, tym lepszy jest twój angielski. So the more often you learn, im częściej się uczysz, the better, tym lepszy your English is. Twój angielski jest. Okay, process it for a sec. And now one more example here. The faster we work, the more effective we are. Im szybciej pracujemy, tym bardziej jesteśmy efektywni. So you see, the only trick here is you use the plus the, and of course you have these adjectives in this superlative form. More examples. I guess you're quite well familiar with this phrase, which is simply the sooner the better. Im szybciej, tym lepiej. The sooner, this is a fixed phrase, so I guess we can't really say the faster the better. I mean, you could of course say it, but the fixed phrase is the sooner the better. Im szybciej, tym lepiej. The plus the, and of course superlative forms in each part of the sentence. More example. Im bardziej jesteś zajęty, the busier you are, tym więcej masz czasu. The more time you have. Okay, so actually pay attention, in the second part we don't have this adjective, tym bardziej jesteś zadowolony, szczęśliwy, skuteczny. You actually have the noun, rzeczownik, tym więcej masz czasu. So we simply use the more time you have. So once again, the busier you are, the plus adjective, superlative form, plus the more time you have. I hope you're with me. We won't spend much time today thinking about the theory and the structures, because actually the best way is to practice it on some examples. So in a minute I'm gonna give you 8 sentences to translate, and that will be the best way how you can basically memorize this structure and the use of it. So let's have a look at some kind of summary. Have a look. I just want to remind you that how to basically create this superlative form of an adjective, stopień wyższy przymiotnika. So if the adjective is short, like 1 syllable or 2 syllables, rich, then you basically add this er, richer, old, older, busy, busier. I know this is very basic, but I just want to, well, refresh it with you. However, if the adjective is a bit longer, so a few syllables, like efficient, then obviously you have to add this more efficient. Intelligent, more intelligent, okay? So you basically have this division, short adjectives, er ending added, long adjectives, you add more before this adjective. And now let's move on to this practical part. So like I've promised, a very short class today. Let's take a look at these 8 sentences. So your task is basically to translate the sentence. You can always stop the video to think how you would translate it. I always recommend that you actually translate these sentences aloud, because then in this way you imitate this kind of speaking, right? You're not kind of dividing the sentences into parts as if you were writing, but you say the whole sentence aloud, which is basically similar to a conversation you would have with somebody. So now stop the video, translate it aloud, and then you can of course continue with the video. Ready? Let's take a look at the key. The more you earn, so have a look, here we don't have any adjective, right? We have a verb, czasownik, im więcej zarabiasz, the more you earn, tym łatwiejsze jest twoje życie. Now we have this adjective, the easier, superlative form, the easier your life is. Okay, so remember we always create these sentences in this way, the and then the as well. The more you earn, the easier your life is. Also, please bear in mind that whenever an adjective or a noun starts with a vowel, samogłoska, like easier, then the is pronounced as the easier, right? The apple, for example. Sentence number 2. Im więcej planujesz, tym bardziej jesteś zorganizowany. Stop the video and translate it now. I hope you're ready. If not, you can still stop the video. And the more you plan, again we have a verb, so with verbs you will always be using this more. The more you plan, the more organized you are. Tym bardziej jesteś zorganizowany. Obviously, organized is a longer adjective, which means we will create this superlative form by means of more. The more you plan, the more organized you are. I hope you're with me. I hope it's getting a bit easier now. Sentence number 3. Im mniej wiesz, tym lepiej. How will you translate it? So now, remember, we have im mniej. So how will you say im mniej wiesz, tym lepiej? Ready? The less you know, the better. Right? Remember, good, better, the best. We have an exception here, so we are not adding more. We are not adding any endings. This is an exception. Good, better, the best, like bad, worst, the worst. So the less you know, not the more, the less you know, the better. Easy? Clear? Number 4. Im więcej jesz, tym grubszy się stajesz. Maybe not always, it depends on your metabolism, I guess. But now, stop the video, try to think of the answer. And now, The more you eat, so again, remember, if you have a verb, then the only option is to use more. The more you eat, and now the adjective, superlative form, the fatter you become, or the fatter you are. The more you eat, the fatter you become. So once again, im, tym, the. Okay? The. This is the structure. Sentence number 5. Im więcej się uczysz, tym więcej wiesz. Here we only have verbs, uczysz and wiesz, so the structure will be as follows. The more you learn, the more you know. Simply, the more you learn, the more you know. The more you practice, the better your English is. I guess we could also say it, right? Number 6. Im ciężej pracujesz, tym więcej zarabiasz. Again, we have two verbs. Stop the video if you need to. And now, together. The harder you work, the more money you earn. The harder you work. Adjective, short adjective, superlative form, adding this er. The harder you work, the more money you simply earn. Of course, remember, if you feel like processing these examples, if you need a bit more time, always stop the video and get back to it whenever you want. Okay? I'm not giving you a lot of space to think because I assume that you can always stop the video. Sentence number 7, the last but one, przedostatnia. Im bardziej zbilansowana jest Twoja dieta, tym jesteś zdrowszy. Now try to process it, stop the video to have some time to think, to translate it in your mind or aloud, my suggestion. Okay. The more balanced your diet is, the healthier you are. So remember, the verb is at the end. If you have a look at the Polish sentence, im bardziej zbilansowana jest Twoja dieta, tym jesteś zdrowszy. In English, firstly we have the healthier and then we have you are. Jesteś. So it's like tym zdrowszy jesteś, right? Not tym jesteś zdrowszy. I guess in Polish we have two options how we can say it. In English, the healthier you are. The more balanced your diet is, the healthier you are. And the last one, bear with me. Im więcej wysiłku wkładasz, tym lepsze widzisz efekty. Try to think of the answer, try to translate it, stop the video if you need to. And let's have a look at the key. The more effort, by the way, the more effort you make or put, the better effects you see. So once again, im więcej wysiłku wkładasz, the more effort you make, tym lepsze, the better effects you see. Or the better your effects are, we could also say. I know it might be something new to you, perhaps you've never seen or you've never used or you've never learned this structure, so I do hope this class has been useful. I actually want to give you some suggestion. How about you create a sentence with the, im, tym in the comments, and I'm going to take a look at your sentences and I'm going to correct them and I'm going to tell you whether it's correct or incorrect. So practice for you. Try to create one sentence in the comments to memorize it even better. Remember that whenever you create your own examples, your own sentences, then usually you memorize it a bit better because this is your sentence, this is your imagination, your context. So it's always easier to memorize such a sentence.